RJ, how about you?
Well, thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here and to be amongst such amazing women. So, thank you so much for having me. I'm a woman with many roles, many hats, although I don't have on one today. I have a lot of responsibilities, starting with my personal life. I am a mother of two adult children. I have four grandchildren that call me sweetie. And let me back up and say my children call me for money. So yeah, I also I'm a woman with passion, and I've known for quite a long time since I was a teenager that the journey that I'm on is the journey I wanted to be on. So using the vehicle as a professional speaker, podcaster, author, I get to travel the world to remind women that there's greatness inside of them and that they don't have to live where they're dying and they don't have to die where they're living. So I get to do that. And I love saying I get to do that. Pleasure and it's an honor, just like it is to be here today.
To set this stage, I'd love for you to share a short story where you were your own coach, your own cheerleader, or even the tough love friend. How did this journey of self development and self leadership and personal transformation impact your approach to the leading others? Did you adopt a new habit, a mindset, a lifestyle?
I'll share. You know, it's true what they say. You can't give what you don't have. And so you can't cheer for anyone else if you can't cheer for yourself. And as a woman growing up, always rooting for people, supporting my family, being that woman, that young girl that everybody came to, I found that not too many people were cheering for me while I was cheering for everyone else. And so I found a solution. Cheer for yourself, RJ. Because if you can't cheer for yourself, you really can't cheer for anyone else. Growing up, I grew up with a rare eye disease. Throughout life, I have had many challenges. The one that comes to mind is the one that happened recently, where I was involved in a horrific accident that left me with a brain injury. I laid in bed, couldn't even remember who I was, but I had to remember to cheer for myself. And I'm only here today because I've learned to cheer for myself. And I just want to encourage anyone who's watching or listening. You have what you need in order to succeed, but you got to believe it first. And you must be your own cheerleader.
So, kind of, I'm putting it out there to you all. Can you recall a pivotal moment in your career or personal lives that helped define your leadership style? How did this moment shape your philosophy on leadership and empowering others?
Absolutely. I just totally agree, Jenny. And the one way to do that is to know for yourself who you are, to be the reflection of what women really long for and what they need to see. And to answer the question for me, I'll make it short because one thing about me, Jenny said this earlier about fake it till you make it. I can't fake it. And listen, I just got to be authentically true and tell you when I don't know. And I had to come to that as a result of living with a brain injury, not being able to remember. And when you ask what's a pivotal moment, I'm like, I don't know, but I'll tell you a story that relates. And perhaps it wasn't the pivotal moment, but it was a moment that helped define me in my leadership skill. When I was young, my mom told me I was going to camp. Now, I'm a daddy's girl. And so my first question was, okay, is my daddy going? And she says, no, but you are. And I was like, oh man. So I went to the camp. I was a really shy person, didn't want to go anywhere without my dad. But I'm at this camp and we had a homework assignment to write about our personality. I was the only one who did the assignment. And the teacher had me come up and read it. And as I read it, the kids started laughing. They especially laughed at the part where I said I cry easily. So they made it their business on the way home to make me cry.
Oh, wow.
And I let them know, you can make me cry, but I had the courage to stand up and do something that you didn't have the courage to do. And for me, that's a leader, someone who will courageously stand up boldly and declare who they are without apologizing. And so they realized they couldn't get me to cry because I had the trophy in hand. That was a moment for me.
Great.
I have to know who I am in order to help other women, and particularly know who they are. Because you can't fake it. They see it and smell it a mile away.
So true.
That's a great story. Yeah, thank you for sharing, RJ. Very touching, and I think some of us might have experienced similar situations. But standing up for yourself and just being true to who you are. That's one of the way to show leadership and then grow out of that situation, right? Intentional networking and building impactful connections. Um, do you have a strategy or tip around doing that, right? Intentional networking and how we can create these meaningful relationships.
We're actually created for connection and we need each other to survive. And Jenny, to do that says it's not about me. And I believe when we network, it really isn't about us. And one tip is seek to understand and not be understood. Seek to learn about someone else and what they're doing instead of telling somebody about what you're doing and how important you are. And Jenny, you did that today. And you've changed someone's world, whether you realize it or not, by just saying, let me connect one of these people together. And so as we do lift, as we rise, we help other people rise as well. And so I love what you shared, Jenny, and thank you. I can't wait to hear from the Sarahs.
Sarah. That's sweet.
How do you approach mentorship? And is there a story that any of you who can share that you were mentored along the way, long time ago, that helped you achieve your goals, or you helped somebody through mentorship to help them achieve their goals? And how did that work? RJ, you want to take that first?
Absolutely. It'd be my pleasure. And I want to go back to something Sarah shared earlier when we were talking about being our own cheerleader.
Mm-hmm.
Mentorship is so important because we cannot do this thing alone. We really do need each other to encourage, to lift, to remind, to hold accountable. So I just want to go back to that really quickly and say, Sarah, you're absolutely right, spot on. We need other people to hold us accountable. And mentorship, it does just that. You know, I love the way John C. Maxwell said, the greatest gift we can give to anyone is to help them see ahead of the game and then get to their destination. And Oprah came right behind it and said, to help them see the hope inside. And I believe that's what mentorship is helping people see beyond what they see and to see their greatness, to see that they matter and that they have purpose. Not to say, hey, be like me. No, but to be your best self. And so a quick story on that is, first and foremost, God, he saw greatness inside of me before I was even born. And then he gifted me with great parents who were not just leaders, not just models, but they were mentors to me. They believed in me. They saw something that I didn't see in myself. And they sent me to a school that I didn't want to go to, where my ninth grade teacher, Sister Marge, really saw potential in me. And because she did, she nurtured that as a mentor. She showed me what mentorship really looked like. And I promise you, I say, God created me. William and Rhoda Jackson conceived me. Sister Marge saw potential in me. And that's why I am who I am today, because of what they saw inside of me. Fast forwarding, as an adult, I decided I wanted a mentor. And so I saw this woman who was a superintendent of a school, and I did the max. I created this special gift. I sent her flowers with this letter to say, would you please be my mentor? And she called me up. And she said, thank you. Everything was so lovely, but no. Now, in an instant, in my mind, I'm thinking, I'm not worthy. I'm not good enough. She doesn't like me. You know how all these thoughts go through your mind that make you think that you don't matter? Well,
Yeah.
it seemed like hours, but it was only seconds before she said, because I really want to be your friend and I will mentor you along the way. Why? Because she saw something in me that I still didn't see in myself. You see, I saw her up here and me down here. And sometimes when we have mentors, that's what we see. But she saw me up here and she wanted to be my friend. Mentorship, it's about encouraging, it's about lifting while we climb, it's about accountability, it's about empathy. And if I had not had the people in my life to mentor me, I wouldn't even be here today. And I'm so grateful for them.
I'll go next. RJ, you're a tough act to follow. I'll say that.
Sarah, you don't have to follow me. We can walk along side by side and I can learn a lot from you.
What is one change that you would want to see in this landscape, right? Let's say over next 10 years. RJ?
Be the change you want to see.
So thank you all so much for sharing insights, for sharing stories, being vulnerable, and also leaving us with all the tips and nuggets that can help us, and not only in our career or personal life, but also help us as a community. So together, let's continue to break barriers, build bridges, and lift while we rise. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. Let's carry these conversations forward and make a tangible difference in our communities and workplaces.